The Dallas Cowboys are facing a tough decision. Should they use the franchise tag on defensive tackle Osa Odigizuwa? It's a move that will guarantee him a one-year contract worth over $23 million. But is he really worth that price? If you're not familiar, the franchise tag is a tool teams use to keep a key player for one more season without signing a long-term deal. It's a safety net, but an expensive one. And for a team like the Cowboys, who are already struggling with salary cap limitations, every dollar counts. Now, don't get me wrong, Osa has been a solid piece on the defensive line. He's improved every year, bringing consistent pressure up the middle and making key stops when it matters. But $23 million, that's elite defensive tackle money. And let's be honest, he's not quite in the same category as guys like Chris Jones or Aaron Donald. So what's the alternative? The Cowboys could let him test free agency, hoping to re-sign him for a more reasonable price. But that comes with its own risks. Another team with more cap space might swoop in and offer him a deal the Cowboys can't match. This is where I want your take. If you were in charge, would you use the franchise tag on Osa Odigizuwa or let him walk? Drop a yes or no in the comments, and let's see where Cowboys Nation stands on this one. The Cowboys have some tough contract decisions ahead, and two big names could be on the chopping block: DeMarcus Lawrence and Brandon Cooks. Both have been key contributors, but with void years kicking in and the salary cap tightening, is it time to move on? Let's start with Tank Lawrence. No doubt he's been a leader on this defense, a reliable veteran who brings toughness and experience. But let's be real, his production isn't what it used to be, and injuries have started to pile up. Cutting him wouldn't be simple though. His contract has $7.45 million in dead cap, meaning the Cowboys wouldn't get full relief. Then there's Brandon Cooks. When he joined last season, he was expected to be a game-changing deep threat, but things didn't go as planned. Whether it was scheme issues, inconsistent targets, or just a bad fit, he never truly became that second weapon next to CeeDee Lamb. And now, the Cowboys would have to eat $4 million in dead cap if they decide to move on. So what's the move here? Keeping both players limits what the Cowboys can do in free agency, but cutting them doesn't offer massive savings either. This is the kind of off-season dilemma that can shape the future of the team. If you could only keep one of them, who would it be? Drop DL for Lawrence or BC for Cooks in the comments, and let's see what Cowboys Nation thinks. The Cowboys secondary could look very different next season, and two key names are under the microscope: Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Both have been important pieces in Dan Quinn's defense, but with salary cap concerns, it's possible that only one of them stays. Let's break it down. Donovan Wilson is a hard-hitting safety who brings energy and physicality to the defense. When he's on, he's a game changer, but he's also been inconsistent and struggled with injuries. The Cowboys could save $5.85 million by cutting him, which is a tempting number considering their cap situation. On the other hand, Malik Hooker has been a more steady and reliable presence at safety. He doesn't make a ton of highlight reel plays, but he's dependable in coverage and rarely makes costly mistakes. The problem? He's not exactly a game wrecker. And if the Cowboys want to get younger and more dynamic in the secondary, they might consider moving on. So what should Dallas do? Keep both? Let one go? If you had to choose who stays, drop a W for Wilson or an H for Hooker in the comments, and let's see what Cowboys Nation thinks. With so many potential departures, the Cowboys have some huge decisions to make in free agency. The front office needs to be aggressive, but with their salary cap limitations, they have to be smart about where they invest. So where should they focus? Defensive line is a big concern, especially if Osa Odigizuwa doesn't get the franchise tag and DeMarcus Lawrence is let go. The Cowboys need to stop the run better, and that starts with getting stronger in the trenches. Then there's the wide receiver situation. CeeDee Lamb is an absolute superstar, but beyond him, things get shaky. Brandon Cooks didn't quite fit, and Michael Gallup hasn't been the same since his injury. Could Dallas target a big-name receiver in free agency? And what about safety? If one of Donovan Wilson or Malik Hooker's gone, the Cowboys will have to fill that hole with either a signing or a draft pick. It all comes down to cap space and how aggressive Jerry Jones and the front office are willing to be. Cowboys fans have seen this before. Big talk, but minimal action. Will this offseason be different? What do you think is the biggest priority for Dallas in free agency? Drop a comment. Defensive line, wide, receiver, or safety? Let's see what Cowboys Nation believes is the most urgent fix. So after all these decisions, Osa Odigizuwa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Cooks, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and free agency strategy, where do the Cowboys go from here? Every move they make this offseason will shape the future of this franchise. Will they double down on veterans and try to make another playoff push? Or will they start a mini rebuild, cutting key players to reset their cap situation? And one thing is certain, the pressure is on. Fans are tired of early playoff exits, and the front office can't afford to get it wrong again. If the Cowboys make the wrong decisions, next season could be another disappointment. But if they make the right ones, maybe, just maybe, this team can finally take the next step. So, what do you expect from this Cowboys offseason? Will they make bold moves or play it safe? Let me know in the comments. And of course, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update on the Cowboys' future. The Dallas Cowboys are at a crossroads. This offseason isn't just about adjusting the roster, it's about defining the direction of the franchise for years to come. Every move, every decision, and every contract negotiation will shape the team's future. And let's be honest, after another frustrating playoff exit, the pressure is mounting like never before. Think about everything that's at stake. Osa Odigizuwa's contract situation could set the tone for the defensive line. If the Cowboys choose to place the franchise tag on him, they commit a massive chunk of their cap space to one player. If they let him walk, they gamble on finding a replacement in the draft or free agency. Neither decision is simple, and both come with risks. Then there's the uncertain future of DeMarcus Lawrence and Brandon Cooks, two respected veterans, but at this point in their careers, are they more of a burden than a benefit? The financial implications are heavy. Keeping them could mean less flexibility and adding fresh talent, while letting them go could create holes in the roster that aren't easy to fill. And let's not forget the secondary dilemma. Do the Cowboys move forward with both Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker? Or do they make the tough call to cut one loose? The defense has been a strength in recent years, but maintaining that strength requires smart decisions. All of these choices lead to a bigger question. What is this team's identity? For years, the Cowboys have tried to keep a balance between developing young players and holding on to experienced veterans, but at some point, they need to fully commit. Either they're all in on winning now, or they start building for the long term. The indecision of trying to do both is what keeps them stuck in this cycle of playoff heartbreak. The front office, led by Jerry Jones, has some serious thinking to do. Fans aren't just hoping for big signings or flashy trades. They want a real plan. Something that actually moves the team forward instead of just maintaining the status quo. Because let's be honest, the status quo hasn't exactly been working. So what happens next? Will the Cowboys make bold moves to finally get over the hump, or will they continue to play it safe, hoping that just tweaking a few things will be enough? We've seen how that has played out in the past, and it's left fans frustrated year after year. If the Cowboys want to be Super Bowl contenders, they need to take real risks. They need to be aggressive, smart, and decisive. No more waiting, no more excuses. It's time to make the hard choices now. It's over to you. What's the biggest move the Cowboys should make this offseason? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get this discussion going. And if you want to stay up to date with every Cowboys decision, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This offseason could be the turning point. Let's see if the Cowboys finally get it right.